Good morning. Today is Tuesday, September 16th. This is Wake Up with KERA News. I'm Andrew Garcia. We'll see slightly above average temperatures for September today, as highs remain stubbornly in the low to mid-90s. There's a slight chance for rain both today and tomorrow, but most areas will look to stay dry. You know, we spend quite a lot of time on electronic devices, myself included. What you need to know about TechNet. That's coming up after the news. Some Texas teachers are facing backlash over online comments made after the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. As the Texas Newsroom's Lucio Vasquez reports, the Texas Education Agency is reviewing those complaints.
Education Commissioner Mike Morr says educators found sharing, quote, vile content related to Kirk's death could be fired. So far, no formal investigations have been opened, but several teachers in Houston have already been let go after sharing opinions online. 2 other educators in North Texas resigned, and another in West Texas was placed on administrative leave. Kirk, a co-founder of Turning Point USA, was shot and killed last week at Utah Valley University. Authorities have called it a political assassination. The Houston Chronicle reports the state has already received nearly 200 teacher complaints in the days following the shooting. I'm Lucio Vasquez in Houston.
This hurricane season may be the last in which Texas can count on the Federal Emergency Management Agency for help. As Houston Public Media's Andrew Schneider reports, President Trump has said he wants to shut FEMA down and hand its responsibilities to the states.
Trump told an Oval Office gathering in June that he wanted to abolish FEMA as early as December. Houston area Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher formerly served on the House committee that oversees the agency. She says doing away with FEMA entirely would require an act of Congress.
Traditionally, there has been bipartisan support for FEMA because people across the country, when struck with disaster, need the immediate response, the resources, the coordination, and frankly, the experience that FEMA brings.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, whose department includes FEMA, said after the Hill Country flood that abolishing the agency is still the administration's plan. I'm Andrew Schneider in Houston.
At work or in free time, we're constantly using computers and/or electronic devices. But if we're not careful, all that time can lead to physical injury. In today's Vital Signs, KERA's Sam Baker talks with Baylor Scott and White spine surgeon Dr. Yannis Avramis about TechNet.
Essentially, anytime we're looking down and flexing our neck forward, that can cause problems in terms of our alignment as well as pain and muscle issues, and that's what we commonly refer to as TechNet.
Does this directly stem from how you handle the device or simply spending too much time on it?
Combination of both, right? And so when we talk about the ergonomics, it's the alignment of our neck while we're using our devices. And so if we had an upright alignment, we would really mitigate a lot of the problems that we associate with TechNet. So if you're lifting the phone and holding it at eye level, if you were looking forward, that would be great for your neck. But obviously that's very uncomfortable and you can only do that for so long. And with laptops, that's actually impossible to do because typically we have it on our lap or on our desk and we're typing, but then that puts the screen down below us and we're having to look down. But like you said, it's also a function of time. If we're doing it in short stints with our neck not in a great position, it's not going to cause that many problems. But if we're doing it for extended periods of time, looking down, hours on end, then it can really cause a lot of problems.
How serious an injury can this become?
It's very rare, but there are instances where some of the ligaments can be stretched out and we can see them turn into bone and calcify, as we say, and that just indicates a chronic injury to those ligaments. That's, again, uncommon, but it can be pretty significant. We also worry about that deformity with the neck being flexed forward becoming more of a fixed or rigid deformity, and that can lead to something called sagittal imbalance, which can be a very disabling condition.
Is TechNet something you can kind of take care of your own, or is there a certain point at which you need to seek a medical professional?
Most all of the treatment is something that we can do on our own at home. It's putting down your phone and going for a walk or calling somebody and having a direct voice communication with them or meeting with them in person and having a coffee or having lunch and looking up at them will help prevent TechNet. Time on the devices, decreasing that time can help prevent it. Physical activity, going outside, going for a walk, going to the gym, all these things will get us off our devices, get our neck in a more normal position, and help strengthen our core muscles. Pilates and yoga are the two number one things I recommend for any issue with the back, and that can help a lot with strengthening. But when the condition becomes severe and you're beginning to have a rigid deformity of the neck, or you start to have pain and numbness going down into the hands and arms, that's usually an indication to seek medical care.
Haven't we been warned about this before? I seem to recall like years ago we were getting instruction on what's the best way to be seated at a desk with a desktop computer and all of this. Were we just not getting the message?
You're exactly right. This condition started and did not have the name of tech neck back then, but it started when we were on our desktops and laptops, and things that were helpful back then and are still helpful now are having the sit-to-stand desks where we can bring that monitor up to our eye level. It's all about working on our ergonomics if we're going to be in one position for a long time. With the transition off of kind of traditional desktops onto tablets, laptops, and specifically our phones, it's only worsened our condition, because not only can we be on our laptops at work, but we can be on our phones at home. We can be curled up in a couch in a bad position on our phone with the TV going and paying attention to our phone, and really get our neck into a bad position. So yes, it's not a new condition or a new concern, but it seems to be exacerbated by our increased time that we spend on our phones.
That was KERA Sam Bekah speaking with Dr. Yanis Avramis. The Texas Rangers lost yesterday to the Houston Astros 6-3, seeing Texas drop an important late-season game against their division rival as they're embroiled in a battle with the Astros and the Mariners for the division title. The Rangers are now 3.5 games back out of first, but could look to claw their way back into the hunt by beating the Astros tonight. Celebrate 50 years of Monty Python and the Holy Grail with the one and only John Cleese. This event kicks off with a special screening of the beloved cult classic, followed by a conversation and audience Q&A with Cleese himself. Catch the one-night-only performance on Saturday at the Majestic Theater in Dallas. To see details and more arts events, head to the Go See DFW calendar at keranews.org/calendar. Thanks for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter. You'll get a more in-depth look into the news with plenty of good morning vibes. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We're at KERATX. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.